Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Tea from the Galaxy, a thirst quenching podcast for the girls, gays, the theys, and astrology baes, where we talk about anything and everything through an astrological lens. So, happy Aries season, guys. I have a nice gift for you guys, and that is a dedicated episode to you. Aries, specifically Aries Risings. I brought on one of my favorites and best astrologers that I personally know, Chad the Maverick, on all social media platforms. That's where you can find him. That is how I found him years ago. We connected through social media. I love his content. I love who he is as an astrologer. I love what he's doing in the astrology community and all the work that he puts out too. Today's episode, we really broke down what it means to be an Aries and Aries Rising, what it feels like, his perspective on life being an Aries Rising. Whether you are an Aries or Aries Rising yourself, or you're watching for someone who you know who's an Aries and Aries Risings, I think this was a very informative episode. We also touch upon at the end of the episode a little bit of what is coming towards the Aries Risings as well with the future transits. I think you guys will love this episode as much as I loved making it. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. Well, first, I fell in love with your content. I fell in love with who you are as an astrologer, and then we met up, a couple years ago out in
Yeah.
LA. It's so interesting because we recorded a little video together, and that's when I told you I just had the idea of wanting to eventually do a podcast,
You did say that. Oh,
right?
wow. I love stuff like this, man. But yes, you did say that that day. Yeah, that's crazy. Facts.
Right? Now we're
Yeah.
here. A couple questions I
Mhm.
like asking everyone.
For
So
sure.
whoever's listening can, get to know you a little bit better. You can answer all of them or none of them, whatever you feel comfortable with. What is your age, your big three, your pronouns, and
Mhm.
your sexual identity?
Got you. So I am 29 years old. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon. I go by he, him, or just him for short. No, fine. But the other part to it. And I'm straight, but I'm very just open to in terms of like a lot of my friends are queer, just in general. Like I'm very like
We love an ally.
You feel me? Like, it's just also like those are like the coolest people that I've met in a lot of cases. So like it's all love for real to me.
I love
Truly.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. So, something that I say on this podcast, usually at the beginning, is this is a podcast for the girls, gays, theys, and astrology bays. So, you are the astrology bay that we're bringing on.
I will take it. I'll take
Yes,
it.
this is basically a whole episode dedicated to Aries energy in honor of Aries season. So, let's talk a little bit about you and how you got into astrology.
Ironically, like I've been writing a lot more content. I'm writing courses and stuff like that in the process. And I was writing about the moon or thinking about the moon really. And I was kind of like, was the moon my first love for real? Like when I really think about it,
Mm-hmm.
like was that like I thought it was this morning I thought about it. So honestly, I was like, was it? Because I'm like thinking back and I'm like, I just remember like so being just so drawn, especially when the moon was like full and just
Yes.
like staring outside with like my head against like the window shield, staring at stars through the street lights and just being like, oh, that's so cool. And then like going by, driving through like a wooded area and seeing like the moon just like open up and I'd just be like,
Yep.
whoa, like just I mean like
Yeah.
that's something that a lot of people experience, but to me it was just like it just drew me in a lot. But I also had a really strong love for science. Like I was very into like I just want to know how the world worked, truly. Like I
Hmm.
was just like, what's going on with this? The science that I was really into was in space because I just was in love with the solar system. And I was like, this is just a system and I need to know how this works. But
Hmm.
I looked at it from a very science point kind of first. The biggest thing that I remember specifically in the growing up, I got in trouble for doing some Aries type behavior, I'm sure. And so I'm going through and I'm like cleaning and dusting off a bookshelf in my house and like I hated it. I was just like, whatever, I'm doing this. And I found this secret language of birthdays book. And I
Mm.
remember like just opening it up and then like re-immersing myself in this concept that I'm like, why does this book know me better than the people that live around me right now? Like, why does this book give me a resonance that I've heard semblances of
Hmm.
people, but like it never came together in a way that I was like, oh, I feel seen.
Yeah.
So I'm like halfway crying my eyes and dusting stuff off, just trying to get through. And later on, it just like circled back to me. The biggest thing I like to talk about is I wrote an article in elementary school about Pluto because I was pissed off that they said it wasn't a planet. And I remember like feverishly,
Astrologer things.
yo, feverishly, I was like, I had to be like 10. I was just like, I was pissed. I was like top tier mad. And I remember like it getting on the front page because they were just like, this person poured his heart out.
Oh
It's just
my
the weird
God,
stuff that
yes.
synchronizes over time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that that's like the first parts that like got me into like wanting to know it from a spiritual perspective, I'd say.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting that you even had that book like in your house.
Yeah, for sure.
That sounds so fated to me, like you were meant to just stumble upon that.
I think that's a very, I was writing about Aries and I was like, I said something about like okay, Aries are courageous because they stumble into things and they have to be brave and you're not
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it. It's just like a happens and all right, let's give it a shot. And
Yeah.
I think that's a strong resonance there. But yeah, definitely a stumbled upon as many things in my life it would
Yeah.
be like. So it's a beautiful thing though. I love it.
Being an Aries rising, I guess you having a fire sun and a fire moon, it like supports that Aries rising as well. It's all flowing. But how
Mm.
do you feel like being an Aries rising makes you different? Or what's your perspective on life, I guess, having an Aries rising that you're like, oh, this is what makes me an Aries rising, makes me different than
Yeah.
people around me.
I would say one thing to like just be transparent about is that I think the Aries rising was the hardest part for me to accept
Hmm.
for what it like was at first. I was very much like, I'm a double sag, haha. And then like the
Hmm.
Aries rising, but I was like, I didn't understand the Aries energetic because I was living it so hard that it was very difficult to kind of have a mirror back to like what people were seeing in me, right? I follow my heart the best I can. I guess
Hmm.
the first part to it. And I'm a chill person, but I care about like justice. I care about like my friends. I care about people
Hmm.
who are just dealing with things that sometimes other people don't have to deal about. So I've always kind of just been someone to like, if anything goes wrong, I'm like not the first one to step up, but I will be the loudest to step up. Like, this is subconscious. This is why I want
Hmm.
to point this out. There's no conscious part of me that's like I have to step up for this person because it's just like it's a very like yo, this is my friend,
It's like an innate feeling.
hmm and like
Yeah.
you met me, you know, I'm a tall guy, so it's like it's easier to kind of get away with being an Aries rising because
Yeah.
of that in certain senses, right? But the real part that stuck to me was that like I have a very personality forward kind of vibe that I
Hmm.
never get to experience. And I think that's the
Interesting.
hardest part. Yeah, the hardest part of being an Aries rising is that it's like I don't know what other people perceive of me. I just know that they feel something. And no
Yeah.
matter how it goes, no matter what it looks like, I'm like, I will make you feel something.
Yeah.
And that's just me trying to be honest about my energetic. A lot of times, have like Saturn and Aries too. So it's like I don't mind playing a background. I don't mind being like I don't have to be the forefront. I
Hmm.
never like I like to be the forefront when I can, right? Like if I'm the lead or something, and like yes, I am the main character. What's up? But I don't need to be the main character in every instance. But we have to win.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like it's
That's
like
the
a
competitiveness
yeah.
of Aries for sure.
Right. It's not just about me, but whoever is on my side, we have to go win.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
like it's
that's
not
one
like
of the things that
yeah.
I love about Aries. I always say Aries energy. I don't have any Aries placements in my chart. So that's why I definitely wanted to bring you on to kind of so we could talk about more about the energy because I can observe the energy all day, but I don't know what it
Mhm.
feels to encompass it, you know?
Right.
But
Hopefully I'll give you some gems in there in
yeah,
between
for
that. Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Anytime I see people who have prominent Aries energy in their chart, especially in the rising and the moon sign, something that I always noticed was their resilience. Like you guys, and maybe because I'm so water dominated, sometimes my
Mhm.
emotions can really water me down. I feel like people with prominent Aries energy in their chart, they're very much like, even if they're going through something, they're very head first, you know, the ram, like moving with things head first. And that, like what you said, that need to win. And it's not even like in any type of like cocky type of way. It's just my need for like to come in first, to win, to rise to the top, and to be better weighs more than kind of what I'm feeling in this moment.
Yes, and I think that that's actually a very good explanation because that's a part that I don't understand about Cancer energy. And I
Yeah,
know
that's
that
that
there's like
square.
that's the part, and it's ironic because I have like a bunch of people with Cancer energy just in my life. But it's funny because like you said, we have to react to it, so we don't get to emote to it, and y'all will emote first and react to it. But the thing that people don't,
Yeah.
or Aries is not well known for, is like when that thing that they were brave about hits them 3 weeks later,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh my God, I did do that.
Mm-hmm.
I should be scared." And that's like the weirdest part about being Aries, because it'll
Yeah.
be like 2 months later, you'll be like, "Oh shoot, like I did that. That's terrifying." But it's
Yeah.
like a very weird. Maybe that's just me. If you're Aries and you're watching this, please drop something so I know it's not just me. But maybe this is me.
No,
Let me think.
I've definitely witnessed some, especially Aries moons in my life, deal
Mm,
with that too. I always, do you know that meme, shadow of a girl, and she's like standing in front of like a burning building, and it's like I may have overreacted, like, but she's like calm,
perhaps.
she's just looking at the fire, like
Yes.
that. I kind of think that's Aries energy sometimes, because you guys just have to feel it. But as soon as
Mm,
you feel it, you deal with it, you move on. But the realization of what just happened maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago then
right.
comes and it's like, oh shit, like I did do that. Or I did just go through that. And I did react that
Right.
way. Like,
Or even sometimes the areas are like rising specifically, it's like and I typically am coming like 95% of the time from like a really like heart-led good place with just life things in general, right?
yeah.
But I can see how it can get misconstrued as well.
I was just gonna say that's a very much misunderstood aspect
Mhm.
about Aries energy, where it can be interpreted as being very selfish or me type of energy. But what's slept on about Aries is that they do move from a very heartfelt, passionate energy in their body, and that is actually the motivator for their actions, ruled by
And
Mars.
it's crazy because I think about it and I'm like, I know those time frames in my life where I am either uninspired or a little bitter. You know what I'm saying? Like either
Mm-hmm.
uninspired or I just actually analyze and know the chips stacked against me in some instance, and I'll just be
Yeah.
like, I'll almost get more upset at the pre-fight of what I think has to be me going up the ladder or fighting up to be seen or known or like respected in a lot of cases, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, do I have to like fight the fight, and then knowing the instances too where it's just like a you're already everything, you're already all you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And not in a spiritual woo-woo way. It's just like a no, like literally you are here, you are present. And I think that's a gift to Aries is that we're very present.
Yeah, I was
Very
just gonna
present.
say too. Yeah. You kind of know how to put yourself first versus or maybe compare it to other signs that are always thinking about other things or other situations or other scenarios, or even your
Right.
sister sign Libra, which they
Hmm.
struggle with that they're always thinking of and outweighing everyone else's opinions. And that's like the Aries Libra axis as well. But
For
what's your
sure.
Venus and Mars sign too?
Yeah. My Venus is in Scorpio, if no one could tell. And my Mars is in
Yeah.
Virgo, if no one could tell. These are the two things. I
I
was
knew one
the
of them was in Scorpio, but I forgot which one.
yeah, my Venus is in Scorpio. Which it adds its own layer. I think the Aries problem is that it's like again, like, I can't feel whatever I exude.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm going out somewhere and I'm feeling specifically magnetizing and I'm walking through and I got my fit on and I got that shit on, you know what I'm saying? I know that there's like a magnetism of it,
Yeah.
but I just don't know what that's like on the other side. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like a
I completely get it, especially
Mhm.
being a Scorpio rising. So we're both
Right.
Martian ruled. I always get, oh, you're so mysterious or intimidating. And I genuinely don't feel like that. I feel like, or the resting bitch face. I obviously don't know that I have a resting bitch face until people tell me. I mean, I'm not looking at myself in a mirror all day, every
Right.
day.
For sure.
But yeah, that's the rising sign. So if whoever's listening, like if you're trying to understand, it's literally the lens. I say they are the goggles that you wear to navigate
Mm,
life. Like you are not looking at the goggles, you're looking through the goggles. So sometimes
right.
you can't feel or understand what people are, how people are, interpreting you. Do you get people telling you when they first meet you that you're intimidating or like people who don't know you?
Yo, people, I think actually I have a handful to say about this, to be honest with you, and I think this is like an interesting fact, right? Where I'm like, I can come off to people as intimidated if I'm quiet.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
If I'm like, can sometimes I'm introvert. So truthfully, I will sit, I would go out places, I would just post up and sit somewhere, order me a little something and just like zone out for a little bit to just be in my own bubble amongst things that are around. And then people just kind of come up and be like, yo, are you upset? Or maybe some lady might come through and be like, are you here by yourself? And like it's kind of like a,
Yep.
yeah, I'm here by myself. Why? And I'm like very just it takes me a second to kind of like people again, especially because and I think we have this issue because we're also astrologers. So we're like, this thing's connected here. This is
Yeah.
connecting here. And we're like, what's up? We're like, oh, I have to come back to real people time. Hello, person. Oh,
Literally, people don't understand that. Like, as astrologers, our brains are constantly making connections and
mm,
clocking like patterns
yeah.
constantly. And one of my best guy friends has an Aries rising. And it's so funny because being a Scorpio rising and an Aries rising, when we're
Mm.
together and we used to work together, that's how we met, we're just very intimidating, like as a group. But as soon
Yeah.
as we open our mouths, it is a completely different energy. So that's why I'm always like, once you get to know me, like I'm so different. But how he walks, like I could tell why he is a very intimidating because he has
Mhm.
like a stern face and he just walks very confidently too. And that's a big
Right.
thing with Aries energy too, like confidence. Even if you don't feel it,
Mm.
you guys exude
Yeah.
confidence.
That is,
So,
that's the confusing part though.
yeah.
The confusing part is like I could be actually like angst that you get about stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like I might on the inside be like right,
Mm-hmm.
but then like on the outside I'm like I got this.
Yeah.
Like it's so it's
Literally.
like kind of to add to that. I think the Aries rising relationship that I've had also changed in the last couple of years with the start of like my gym journey, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like the like post toxic body whatever that happens to people because media, and we hate that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like just as like kind of like a grown man stepping into it in terms of like I just need to be better. I need to feel better. Like right, like, there was a time frame where I was just kind of like just hit like a slump, and I was just like, yo, I gotta like do something different. And just in the terms of like me getting into my fire, I was like, yo, like I gotta get a different relationship like to the gym, a different relationship to like my health and my body and etc. Because like I got so used to just running it rampant that I was like, oh shoot, this is the other side of
Mm-hmm.
running my body like rampant. So like that's been a larger part to that. And since I've kind of stepped into the gym and like I finished my first successful bulk season apparently. So we out here.
Hell yeah.
Um, but now that like that's also happened, I have more of a presence
Yeah.
like to people I want to say because like it's like I've always been tall, but now it's like, hey, what's up? Or like
Yeah.
I make room and it's like, oh, like this is that. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been getting used to that because I got used to kind
Mm.
of being like, oh, like I can chill. It's just like, no, bro, like you are the size of a football player in the NFL. Chill out. It's like you're right.
Yeah.
It's like
Did
makes you,
this gym journey start during your Saturn return?
yeah. Like I think it was like at the very tail end of the like last degree of Pisces at the least. Like you know what I mean? Like it was like right
Interesting.
there. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
had to just move. Like as soon as like Neptune went into Aries, like I like just stopped drinking and locked into like the spirit. It was like I just stopped going out to do stupid stuff, and I was like, I need to be a temple, and it just happened. I think I'm just surprised by how fast I was just like I made a decision. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this, and then it was just
What's the degrees of your Aries rising?
my rising sign is 18 degrees.
Oh, okay. And then
Mhm.
your Saturn is 0. So
Yes.
you're literally right in the middle of your Saturn return right now. So if anyone's listening and you're an Aries rising and you were born between the years of 96 and 98, or it might be the beginning of 99. I know in the in between, in the summer of 98, Saturn did go into Taurus and then it
Yeah, and I
retrograded
went back and
back.
forth for a second.
Yeah, because I have a Saturn in Taurus and I'm born 98, but it
Gotcha.
retrograded back. So
Yes.
if so, then you have a Saturn in your first house, which is interesting, and I feel like tampers with the Aries rising
Mm,
energy, right? Like
for sure.
it brings more structure or boundaries, or kind of helps ground you a little bit versus
I,
like, do you feel like if you didn't have Saturn in your first house, you would be like way more impulsive or even angry or like
yeah,
reckless?
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Between yeah, yeah.
especially with that
Between
Sag moon.
100%. Between I would say between my Saturn and Aries being there and my Capricorn stellium.
hmm
Without those like two things to like limit the amount of extra I know I can be or have been or like just I think what's also kind of happened with the Saturn and Aries specifically is like collecting other people's actions, and I'm gonna explain this as best as I can. It's like collecting other people's actions and experiences and then like choosing if you want to live through that experience yourself and see what that's like
Mm.
or
hmm
not, right? Because
hmm
there's a lot of one thing I will say in terms of my growing up or upbringing, right, is that like I always either got respect from the higher ups or the higher ups hated me. There's never
Yep.
really in between, right? But when I would be in like different programs and talk to like some of the like older dudes and they would like give me advice. A lot of other people kind of hit their Aries moment in a negative way and how much that
Mm.
impacted them. Right. So like I do my best to like notice stuff early
Yeah.
and try to knock it out for what it is. So even if I have like a trait about myself that like I get reflected back 2 or 3 times from different people, then I'm like, oh, I'm an asshole right now.
hmm
I am the problem. I think a lot of the Aries like slander happens to do from people that pissed them off. Like very
Yeah.
specifically, Aries gets so
hmm
angry after I was trying to play with their feelings. I don't know why they get like this. It's like,
hmm
what
Yeah.
was the reason?
Yeah.
What was the reason?
And this is probably another reason why people get intimidated by Aries, because
Mm,
it's like comes stems from like a low-key jealousy of people not being able to think for themselves, or which is something that I also look up to Aries for
mm,
about too, because they're always thinking for themselves. I feel like not a lot of times people can really get in their head. Maybe for a moment, maybe
mm,
for a little bit, but the resilience snaps back and they're like, no, actually, this is what I want to do. And I want to
for
do
sure.
this how I want to do it. And I'm going to do it
Mm.
like this way.
I like
Yeah.
to add to that. It takes a bit, and I don't think you could be a successful Aries without other people calling you on your shit and also calling you on what you're
Yes.
about. Like those like
That's
I
needed
need
for
people around
Aries.
me. I need people around me that can do both. Right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm wrong, let me know I'm wrong. If I'm right, like let me know I'm in the right direction. If you disagree with something, and it's not that I will change exactly what I'm doing, but like the feedback from those people, is very important to me, right? Like I keep friends that I've had for a really long time that have seen me at like stage zero to like now. So it's like I still keep a very common core, I want to say, to
Yeah.
how I've lived life. And I think that's a very Aries thing, and I'm blessed for that position.
Yeah.
But it's like the more self-reliant you get, I want to say the Aries, when you get more like I'm going to do this all by myself, everything's by myself, the further away people get because they can't relate to the amount that you're trying to put on your back.
Yeah. hmm
Relate. Because it's like hey, look at me, I'm doing all this stuff. I did this, I did that, and everyone, and like, I'm the best. It's like, cool, we're all going this way. You went that way by yourself.
Yeah.
And now, granted, you could go that way by yourself, become that person, and everyone starts looking to you. They start copying what you try to do.
Yeah.
They start trying to take different pieces, and that's kind of the other side to it. Is that like, they say imitation is flattery, but as an Aries, I don't feel that way for real.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like it's like sure to a point. I love tasteful influences. I love tasteful like pulls from references.
Yeah,
You know, like I love tasteful pulls from references. But like when it's just like a bro, I said that same exact thing to a T in the same storyline arc. In the same, it's like
I hate that too.
as an Aries, as a Scorpio rising, that's when we start having these problems. It's like, hold on.
Yeah. So going back to what you said, because this is something that I also wanted to bring up because it's something that I noticed is a theme or a life lesson with prominent Aries placements is I always noticed that Aries, there is a period of time in their life where they have to be alone. Although you guys get the rep of being a more extroverted sign,
Mhm.
but coming back to yourself because you guys can be stubborn in a way of I want to do things this way, how I want to do it on my own time, because you have
Right.
that vision and it's an innate feeling. And strongly when Aries feels something so strongly and so passionately, and they don't want to compromise that. They don't want to
Yeah.
compromise their vision because they don't want to listen to other people's input. Other
Hmm.
people can get turned off by it, but using that time to really commit to that vision
Mm.
will bring success, but it's kind of like a lonely road. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like a lot of
Hmm.
times an Aries success is a lonely road there.
There's a time frame in my life where I'm like, every time I try to do something right, the way that people prescribe, I end up the loser for it every time. Like
Mm,
every time. It's actually quite annoying because I want to follow some type of instruction. It feels like whenever I get like just too comfortable in some other like system or I try something is just like, bro, that's not you.
yeah.
Then it's like back to the drawing board. And I think as Aries rising, I go back to square one more often than people might assume. I have to say that's part of what I'm going through now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Saturn return as well. It's the alone part feels lonely because you're like, does anyone else relate to why I'm so like passionate about this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there's cases where like we meet people like such as one another, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like they get it, cool. An astrologer's journey is lonely
Yeah.
as a concept.
We were talking about this earlier this year. Like when
That
I
yeah,
stopped making podcast episodes and kind
mhm,
of what you said, like you wish there was a rule book, but I know deep in my heart that anytime I like what you said with that anytime I try to comply or listen to anybody else's thoughts of how I should live life, it never worked out.
and it's not because it's harmful, and I don't think people are coming from a bad place by any means at all. I just think it's a
No.
matter of like energetically, it's like, oh, I agree with this part, I really hate this part, but they said if I follow this part through, it'll be
Mm-hmm.
fine. You follow it through, and it's just like, yo, I should have just like it's almost like a mad at yourself.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I just spent X, Y, and Z. But yeah, I think that like the loneliness is a factor that has to also be felt in order to connect with people that you don't know.
Yeah.
I think that, one
100%.
of the most beautiful parts about the work that we do is that like anybody who gets a reading could be anybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, but I treat everyone like all the same. That's part of like even like my newsletter is called like Under the Stars We Wander because it's like we're all wandering
Mm-hmm.
under the stars till we figure things out. And like, but it kind of brings in this like capacity that it's like we are all individual,
Yeah.
felt alone. We've all been alone. We haven't been able to define why we feel lonely all the time. And I think that that's part of where it's like, even like the people talk, the male loneliness epidemic. It's like, are men attached, or are they in a good relationship to their own Mars? Are they in a good relationship to their Venus? Right?
Mm-hmm.
That could change a lot.
Yeah. Very
It's
true.
like we all have things that we have to like either balance out or
Mm-hmm.
show out with that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people are so almost like concerned with trying to fit their weak spots that they forget to shine. And I do this myself. You get what I'm saying? Where it's like being that bright is sometimes what made people lonely in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of the strange dichotomy of letting yourself have time and be alone because it's like wow, I'm really alone. And then you might come outside and be like, oh, everyone's bothering me. Everyone thinks I'm shining. And it's like, am I really that alone, or do I just like feel something
I
and
think
just
that is such a big Aries energy feeling because you guys have an Aquarius 11th house,
mm,
your fire sign, extroverted energy with that Aquarius 11th house. It's kind of like you could have multiple friend groups, or you have a friend here, you have a friend there, you have online friends, you belong
right?
everywhere. But with the Aries energy, it's like I belong everywhere. And sometimes I feel like because of that, I belong nowhere. And
Yes.
it's a feeling of constantly fitting in by being
Mhm.
yourself, but being yourself is what inspires other people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
So,
contradicting.
ah, yo, so to add to that, I'll even put in the like my name and tagline has been like Chad the Maverick, right? And as I
Hmm.
like think about the Maverick as a concept, it started off as like a Sag thing, so to speak, but like it's as I slowly like I've had this name for a very long time in terms of things. My nickname's been Maverick for a long time, but it's like think about the Maverick portion of that. It feels more of my Aries rising
Hmm.
as time goes on because it's like I know I do that. I don't feel that. My role in the astrology world is, in my personal opinion, and from like what I gather from it, is like very specific and it will be
Hmm.
special, but in a way that's not gonna like pop up for me until I hone myself, right? And I think that that's
Hmm.
something that's like through consistency, through showing up for stuff like this, through when people ask me in person, they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, what do you do?" I'm an astrologer, and I get a mixed bag of results. Sometimes people are like, "What does that do?" I'm in LA, so people usually know what it is. Again, so strange because you can't feel your energy. And correction, you can only feel your energy as an Aries if you're like actually in competition. Like if you feel like I have to show up and show out because this is really important to me. I think that's the only time I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I understand." Like this is a very like serious like.
Would you say you're a really competitive person?
Like, I don't have like much of a jealousy streak in terms of stuff as much as like if something makes me almost jealous, I'm just inspired to be like, oh, I'll just be better than you. Like it's a very
Yeah.
different witness. It's like it's not like I see something and I'm like, oh, I want that. I'm like, oh, I see what they did there.
Yeah.
So I think that part is a little different for me specifically, but I will say in terms of competition, like yeah, like it's a
You're like, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna play to win.
I don't play cards with people. I guess okay. So I don't play cards with people like that.
Uh-huh.
Because like there's this at least when I was younger, this is before I even like fully understood astrology or intuition or anything, but like when I was younger and I like play cards with people, I would start off chill or like games or in general. Like I'm starting off chill. Like I'm
Hmm.
having fun. I am laughing, I am goofing, I will knock over my own piece and laugh, whatever. It's goofy fun.
Hmm.
And then someone talk crazy. And then someone talk crazy and I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? This is what I've
Hmm.
learned to say. My Aries, and I'm like, are you
I'm gonna give
sure?
you 1 second to
And
reevaluate.
in a famous phrase, I'm like, is this what we're doing today? And at that point, you know which way or the other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna like hide the other side of Aries where it's like very much like, yeah, I'm in your face. Yeah, I'm gonna say what's up.
Hmm.
Never to like anything like too extra in terms of that, but it's just like a matter of like having to step up to what is in charge of you. The Aries is the bully's bully. Like
Yep.
that's at its
Hmm.
best. It's like the bully's bully. I think Aries also has a very strong cycle to the concept of either being the bully, being bullied. It's like this like vortex of like trying to figure it out until you're like, oh man, I do care what people think. I do want to know other stuff. I do like
Yeah.
want to really connect, right? I was watching like Abbott Elementary like not too
Hmm.
long ago, and there's this part where these like two kids, I guess they were always fighting.
Hmm.
And then something happened in the school. Like there was like one slight change, and the teacher got scared. She's like, "No, everyone, you got to rip apart. You got to go on the other side." Like, no, it's okay. Y'all were messing up things so hard. We ended up hating it, and we're friends now. We're the beef is squashed, and it's like
Hey, why is that such Aries energy
that's what I'm
though?
saying.
It's like they just have to, I'm telling you, you guys just have to feel it, fight it out. Sometimes it's a tantrum. Sometimes it looks
Yeah,
crazy. Sometimes it's
for
like,
sure.
I'm gonna say something and then I might regret it. I realize that with Aries emotions, it's like you feel it like a fire throughout your whole body. And
Mm,
that is hard to tame or put out. And
Yeah.
by putting it out, you have to let it out. I also give the advice for Aries risings, moons, and Mars. Aries and Scorpio, rising moon and Mars, because you're ruled by like Mars and that Martian energy, that having a good workout routine, like a physical outlet to let those emotions out is so helpful and
It's
important.
changed a lot. And I really was like, I used to be athletic when I was like younger, but I haven't been on like a team since like the high school, so to speak, you know. So like getting
Mm-hmm.
back to being like I lift heavy. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Mm-hmm.
like myself, I'm like, oh my God. Like when I was in my books, I was concerned. After looking at the numbers, I said, huh, this makes me feel like a person. Like
Yeah.
it's just like I'm in my body a little bit more.
Yeah, that mind muscle connection.
Time is more realistic than what it is in my head, I think afterward. I think it's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It did
that's the
numbers for me mentally,
mm,
emotionally,
for sure.
just getting those emotions out through like physically. Like some
True.
people need a creative, and you can have like multiple, but like
Hmm.
I say Pisces moons, they need a creative outlet. Like you need something creatively to help emotionally regulate you, right? Geminis and Virgo moons, they do very well with talk therapy. Mercurial people, dominated people do very well in therapy and just talking it out. Aries and Scorpio, someone asked me the other day, they were like, do you do Pilates or yoga? I said, no, I'm more of like, I need to punch a bag type of girl. Yeah.
And I think for me, like, I didn't think I would like lifting, like genuinely, but then it's just like I don't think about it as much as I did when I was first nervous about it. No, no, go
That's
ahead.
another life lesson I realized for Aries placements too. I feel like they always go through a pipeline. And this is like Aries who have a lot of self-reflection, I guess, throughout their life too. But there's a pipeline of like being a angry kid or an angry person or going through like an angry, frustrated time period, pipeline to calm adult or calm like grandma or something like that,
Yeah.
like, and it took a lot to get there. I worked for this peace type of thing. That's something that I always recognize with
Mhm.
Aries.
That is a very strong quote that rings with me because it's like I think it's just a matter of me understanding the dysfunction that I wasn't like raised in on purpose. I don't think there was like ever like to give the kudos to like my family and everything else. I don't think people inherently try to do anything wrong as much as things were wrong for so long nobody noticed no more. Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
it's like
yeah.
referencing it because I think a lot of people who are born after the 90s, like in the 2000s and stuff like that, like, I think they missed a lot of context into like why things became politically correct
Yeah. Hmm.
because like growing up there was nothing correct about anything, right? And being like a black
Yeah,
kid,
it's like people's norms. It's like when
yeah.
and especially before the social media age,
Mm,
when however you grew up, wherever you grew up, and whatever you were doing, and how you were raised, and
yeah,
even further, our parents' generation too, it's kind of like we're in a bubble. We only know what we know, and what is normal, even if it's dysfunctional. It's like you wouldn't even know because that's the norm. So why would
yeah.
I know anything else?
And then then I go out into the real world and it's like I was like, oh, people can't play tit for tat like this. Thought that's what everyone does. It's like no. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, like this is like a very
yeah,
it's a
100%.
very different understanding. And it's also beautiful to step out that bubble. And I think as an Aries in anything in your big three, like you have to fight out of your circumstance one way or another. Like
Yeah,
it's not easy. It's an actual fight. Like you have to like
yeah,
some people's feelings. And the people's feelings that you hurt him, it might not even be about you.
yeah,
That's the part that sucks too. You know, it's just like, oh, like this isn't about me. This is about something another thing. But is it Aries business to always do that? Not unless they're told. Not unless
yeah.
they're getting to that. But it's something to keep in mind, though, I would say.
It is a fight. I feel like the prominent Aries placements, Aries risings, life is a fight, and not even saying that in a such a negative way, like, oh, dude, Aries rising is the worst rising sign, because I don't think that at all. But I think
Yeah.
you guys encompass a natural warrior type of energy,
Mhm.
protective too type of energy, and just the head first type of energy that it is if you want a certain life or you want to actually reach a point of contentment and happiness and success, that
Mhm.
is a fight. It is fighting to get your spot. It is fighting to get your way. It is
Yeah.
kind of stepping on some people's toes and saying sorry, but doing what you have to do. I think that's something that Aries need to learn if Aries are scared of like whether their parents' approval, especially if they have like, let's say a lot of like can if they're an Aries rising with like a lot of Cancer placements in that fourth house, or like an Aries rising with a lot of Libra placements opposing their
Mhm.
Aries rising, they might struggle with these two energies, like needing to fight and pave their own way, but also,
Mhm.
but what about my parents? What about my friends? What about my partner? What about where I'm living? You have to put yourself first. That's just an Aries way of life, or you're just not going to be happy. You're not going to be fulfilled. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
free will is everything. Like you could choose however, but if you want to live out the happy side of Aries, the most content
Yeah.
side of Aries, it's kind of doing what you want to do at the end of the day.
It's doing what you want to do and then disciplining yourself on what you want to do. That's the part that I think people miss, right? And I think
Yes.
that's also my Saturn like leaning in a little bit, but it's like a oh you I love doing astrology. Cool, show up. Huh? Show
Hmm.
up. What? Even if you don't want to show up, like show up.
I think it's interesting that you said right when your Saturn return was happening, that's when you got in the gym and you felt more of a connection to your body.
Be honest, I got very outside of myself from taking care of like the world at large of anybody on media from going viral to and being an astrologer, you are moonlighting as a therapist
Yes.
half the time. Whether you're doing that or not, you're talking about something so core and soul and central to people
Hmm.
that like I think I started holding on to stuff. Um,
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
so I think that's the started, and I didn't used to do that. It
Yeah.
was like why it's like a new thing. It was like kind of like I started holding on to stuff and like feeling the weight of things and seeing the weight of things outside. And then I was like, I am seeing the weight of things in me. I gotta do something different.
Hmm.
Um, and it just like it just makes me feel better to go like, compete and move. I used to have the joke where I'm like, give me 2 weeks to get in shape and I can do anything. And it's like, yeah, why aren't you just in shape to do it in the first place? It's like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah. You're like, oh
That's some
shit.
Saturn. That's Saturn.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
speak to the Saturn. You use whole sign, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so in whole sign, yes, I am 100% a Saturn in the first house. I have a hard time.
Well, I use both whole sign and Placidus, but
Uh,
for predictive
yes,
astrology, I use whole sign.
I
Yeah.
agree. I think we talked about this before, actually. Yeah, so I use
Yeah.
I use whole sign or predictive stuff if it's quick or like a collective thing.
Hmm.
But when I do try mine's Placidus. So like I have Saturn in the 12th, Saturn in the first,
Hmm.
net 0 degrees Aries point, and a lot of it has to do with like I think I've just been building this version of me that is to be so honest and transparent, like very ancient, but very future, but very like,
Hmm.
I can place the fact that I have a specialty of something, but I think it's just because I've spent so much time in my chart. I think it's because I spent so much time having conversations about destiny and like soul and like
Hmm.
following the signs and stuff. And like, I don't know what that leads to. I don't want to act like I'm like holier than that because I'm like, I know I have a special mission. Look, everyone
Yeah.
does. Lean into what that looks like for you. I think that's what people get scared about. Because like, do I need to, like, I'm not 100 million subscribed astrologer, so why do I need to be one? Like, that's
Hmm.
not. If it happens, cool. But at the same time, it's like I would rather have real conversation with people that I rock with, right? There's a
Yeah.
time where I was more confused and concerned about like I want the whole view to the world to see me and da da da. Then I got like a few Karens that try to mess up my day.
Or even something that, and I don't know if you feel like this about like being an astrologer with a social media presence and
Right.
how social media has shifted over the past couple of years, but
A lot.
I used to, yeah, I used to want
I
that
want to
too.
point this
Like,
out. Yeah,
A
a lot.
lot. I think it's interesting because in whole signs, your Pluto entered your Aquarius 11th house. So I feel like you're definitely going to go through that too, like shifting your social media presence
Oh yeah.
and shifting groups of people that you
I'm
befriend and walk into and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely see that happening for you.
He's reading me for Phil Real time, everyone. Look at this. But no, genuinely, I think that like what's really been stinging with me in my head, and stinging with me is correct. Where I'm like, nah, bro, like everything's really a cycle of something. Like everything's really happened before.
hmm
And because everything has happened before, that means all the worst thoughts you have in your head have happened in some type of capacity, and all the greatest thoughts you have in your head have happened in some kind of capacity. But how are you resonating to it? I think just the idea of or what astrology I think has helped fuel me towards it's just me being like, all right, I'm an Aries Rising, right? If some shit go down around like my people, I don't show up.
hmm
What is the point of being an Aries Rising,
Yeah.
right? If I learn all of this shit about astrology and how to connect to this, and I talk to all these people from all these walks of lives, and I've been seeing from I've been in spots that make no sense per my demographic. Like if I really go and like look at the random spot where I came from, so like where I've been in some random situation, I'm like, that don't make no sense. But it's because I also like I chose that. There is, to be honest, a sense of survivor's guilt that comes from it, for sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna put that past nobody. There is that, and I think that that has been something I have been working on even through like exercise. There's like a
Yeah.
very like oh, you got past this. Like you made it out of where you from. It's like, yeah, it's like not everyone else has. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
most people haven't. Um, and that's not a bad thing. Everyone's coming from such a different spot. And we can
Yeah.
see that as astrologers and we can sense that as astrologers, but like we want to be able to have the average Joe or the average Jane be able to like discern better in their world
hmm
so they can like choose what's right for them versus what they think they're worth, I think,
What's
too.
your north node? What's your north no nodes in? What signs?
Libra.
Your north node is in Libra. So you have Saturn and your south node in Aries.
Mhm.
Wow, that's interesting. Just like speaking to you and like knowing you as a person, like
Yeah.
you encompass like so much wisdom that feels like obviously throughout your lifetime, but it almost feels like you've brought in from past lifetimes. Age-old wisdom like about you. I don't know if you felt like when you were a kid, if you felt very much older than you were, that could be also be a Saturn in your first house too thing.
Yeah.
But you got that Sagittarius sun and moon, like you're giving profit. You're giving I think you turn L's into lessons. And I think that is
Facts.
a good
Oh,
quality about you that
man.
is slept on because a lot of people they don't like a lot of people can fall into a really bad hole, a bad cycle. I think
Right.
also being astrologers too, we feel this need to not save but to help and bring
Mm,
like knowledge to people of awareness that
yeah.
things don't have to be this way. You choose kind of your life, you choose your perspective, and there's
Mm.
other things happening around us that we can't see. That is a bigger picture of how things are playing out right now.
Yeah,
So,
I appreciate the feedback in terms of that as well. Just because like, but you pointed out something very specific where it's like turning the L's into the lessons
hmm
that go through. And prior to me being an astrologer, I actually came out to LA for music initially, music and photography. That's initially what I came out here for. Now I do
hmm
astrology and video. I don't know how things, whatever. So cool, we
I
keep it fluid, right? But like,
I love life. I love how that turned out.
right.
Yeah.
So, ironically, like just like getting into that part, like I'm from and grew up very much like in the world of hip hop in
hmm
terms of the ethos of hip hop lives like in me. I met the an Aries, matter of fact. I met the first person who
Mm.
started hip hop. His name's DJ Cool Herc. I met him around the same time. I think I like got into the astrology. I think it's kind of like led a similar journey. But I remember meeting this man. He's about 6'5" point, and I remember just his giant hands coming and just shaking and just breaking my hand. And I was just like, "Hi, Mr. Cool Herc. Thanks for starting pop." He was like, "I started this shit." I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." It was probably the angriest man I ever met. And the reason why is because he was just like, yo, I started this hip hop. And he's an
Uh-huh.
Aries, like through and through Aries. And I was like, oh, I see,
I
like,
love that he's an
yeah.
Aries.
I figured to throw that in there as I was talking about it.
Yeah.
Cause, but, even then, it's like Aries started the hip hop thing. It is about competition in terms of
Yeah.
like, how can we get better? I don't like the winning and then the like gloating though. I
Mm-hmm.
think like even like just it was kind of instilled in me. Maybe just my North Node and Libra coming through, honestly. But it's like yeah, I won. But like circling back and then being like, and like it's kind of like
That can definitely
like
be an underdeveloped side of Aries,
yeah, for
for
sure.
sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like the cockiness of I'm first, I won, you suck.
It's a process. It's for sure a process. And I think that that's just like part of it too, to where it's like it's the vitality. It's what makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even if and again, I'm a Sag naturally, so I'm like usually chill and I'm very like go with the flow. And then like I'll be playing like this fighting game I play, and I'm
Hmm.
like I'm playing it super casual, and then I'll really learn the game, and I'm like, oh, I understand this, and then I play the game again, and then the people that taught me how to properly play, I start seeing the people that are BSing, and they won off of BSing, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh, this can't happen,
Yeah.
and that's when I'm like, the spirit
Honed
of
in.
these
Yeah.
competitions. I was like, why? Because it's like, well, then learn what you're doing. That's my Mars and
Yeah.
Virgo in me. Learn what you're doing. And we
Hmm.
can come talk.
Hmm.
Then it's back and forth, but
I think what you said that is very Aries is what makes you feel alive and doing what makes you feel alive. I think
mm.
you and Aries risings view life as what's the point if I'm not passionate about it? And I think
That's
that's the basis of it. If I can describe Aries rising energy in just one sentence, it would literally be that.
yeah,
What's the point of
because
me doing this if I'm not passionate about it?
the last thing y'all want to be around is an uninspired Aries rising.
Yes.
Because we
Hmm.
mad. We are
Yeah.
pissed. We don't even know why we're pissed. We're like, like it's awful.
Yeah.
Like, and that also can lead to the loneliness factor too.
Yeah.
How can I get so like, and then it's like, all right, like you have it. When's the last time you took a break? Have you had any
Hmm.
water? Have you had a
Yeah.
nap? There's other things that we could do. So I think that that's
Yeah, they
the
get cranky.
for sure. But you got to know what to do with that crankiness.
Yeah.
I think that's the dope part. Like, this is something I think I mentioned to you a long time ago, but I remember when I was trying to get inspired to like do content in the first place, because it's not natural to me. It's really not. It's I have my thing now, but it's still not a natural process.
Hmm.
But it's like I remember just following only specifically the astrology accounts that would piss me off. Um, they weren't necessarily all bad. They weren't like all bad information. Seeing their content and then feeling like it was always missing something
Hmm.
made me so mad I had to do something about it.
Yeah.
Like it was just like I could either sit here, be mad, comment on stuff, wait for somebody to come in, or I can become the answer to my own problem that's only exists to me.
I think
That's
that
the
is such a combination of your Aries rising and your Virgo Mars.
yeah,
Like your Aries rise, like the Virgo Mars is like, what are we doing here? This needs to be this way. Or maybe if they tweak that, it would be a little better. And then your Aries
yeah,
rising is like, yeah, so I'm gonna take those flaws and I'm going to create my own thing and then
yeah.
be the best at it.
That's honestly like how my content I think at this point exists. It's not perfected to the means of what my brain thinks it should be, but that's part of the point. It's never going to be. That's what
I love
makes
your
it.
content, honestly. And I
You know?
see your Virgo Mars pop up, pop out, and how clean and crisp your content is. And when you say that
And
it doesn't
look,
even come naturally, I'm like, you
right.
wouldn't even know. It doesn't even come naturally to you. Something that I wanted to talk about with you as this Aries rising, and then you giving like a little bit of advice to the Aries risings too,
Yeah.
because there's some heavy hitters happening. Like 2026, all the outer planets are moving into or
Mhm.
are already in a different sign.
Right.
So, what do you think for Aries risings and suns too? That Saturn and Neptune
Mhm.
together in Aries is going to
Right.
look and feel like for the
Mm,
Aries risings and suns.
got you. I want to say that like when Saturn and Neptune there, it's one of those circumstances to where it's like I think if you're not working towards something that truly resonates to the heat that you're able to like emit,
Mm-hmm.
like if people aren't there feeling you be passionate about the thing, I think the universe will pluck you out of it and just make you start on your own. Or it'll pluck
Yeah.
you out of it and maybe you have to like, oh, there's a new position all of a sudden. And now here's the role, and now you have to go fill it. And like maybe you think you need a second, you don't have a second.
Yeah.
You've been doing this other stuff your entire life. Like, why do you need a second now? Right.
Mm.
So I think just in terms of like everything, you have to trust what comes from what you think comes from nowhere isn't coming from nowhere.
Yeah, because Saturn through the first house
Yeah.
transit is not easy. And then especially you like with the Saturn return in whole sign in your whole sign's first house, that's crazy. Because I describe a Saturn through the first house transit as the feeling is like a mini Saturn return
Oh,
because it's hitting the most personal house in your chart. So it's like
mm,
you're going through a complete like almost like a maturation of who you are, your
yeah.
identity, your ego. It's ego deaths, I feel like Aries risings could be going through too.
I think the way that I like to explain it is that like knowing when to be the main character
Hmm.
and like when your moment is. The ancient philosophy to where it's like no matter how much you might even like surpass your teacher, you don't shit on them. Yeah, it's this certain principle to where if you can honor someone's like fire and their passion and like what they've also like given or shown to you, you take it for your own and you just honor that for what that like also is.
And you
And
can
I think
learn a
that's a
lot from it.
maturation
Yeah.
versus me back in the day, I would have popped off about like actually I got it. It's for the Saturn and the Neptune part, it's like knowing when things are not personal and
Mm.
knowing when things are absolutely personal
Hmm.
and then acting off of that. Right?
Mm.
Because some people are
Yeah.
aloof, right? I'm aloof about things. I will
Hmm.
miss a text and be like, I swore I responded to that. Like, aside from like, I get it. When
I
I
think
look at
you
all
having a Saturn, like a natal Saturn
Mhm.
in your whole sign's first house. I think you're the perfect person to kind of like explain this energy for people for Aries risings who are going through this because you
Right.
are born with this energy. So I like
Yeah.
something that you said before too about something that you've always done was you kind of were observant of other people, how other people did things,
Mm.
and you did the opposite, or you realized that you learned from other people's mistakes. Now this is how I'm gonna go about my
Yeah.
life because I've observed everything that I don't want to be or do. So,
And the funny part to that is sometimes I still got the air of caution and I still did the thing, right? Like it's not like it stopped everything, but it gave me
yeah.
at least a real like portion of like, oh, like we need like we genuinely need to slow down. I think Aries are
Ooh,
so
Aries is definitely gonna feel that over the next 2 years.
I hate saying this right now, but I have to. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm like, no, we have to because like
Hmm.
if I kept the same pace that I did when I was on my like there's a time where I did was like I'm just gonna go viral all the time. And I just decided to and I just was like I'm doing it. I was like so convoluted and like I know what the people want that I was like, I don't even want this.
Yeah. Hmm.
And everyone else is copying something that I didn't even resonate to no more. I was like, this isn't mine. Like, we're just gonna honestly, like, in a sense, getting more staying power by like staying true to that more like Saturn 12th first energy to where it's like people know. I think a long time ago, maybe like 5 years, 7 years back, whatever time frame. I'm messing up the times, it's fine. But like
Hmm.
it's just one of those things to where I had a very hard time with the understanding that I was an astrologer.
Hmm.
Um, I was a healer or like someone who was a spiritualist, right? Because like a lot of the people that kind of cling to that um ideology, I typically don't like. Just
Hmm.
typically, I've tried. I've sat with them. I'm
I feel
not
you.
not everyone is like in that same soul resonance, right?
Hmm.
I often have resonated more with people walking to like a coffee shop
Hmm.
or like something else than like some people who are like in our field.
Yeah, so Saturn through the first house, I think it's definitely like what you said, a lesson
Mhm.
for Aries to slow down. I think
Yes.
I describe Saturn as a fuck around and find out planet. So wherever Saturn is transiting in your chart, that area of your life, you're gonna fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Aries, that is happening in the most personal house in your birth chart, and for the suns, like to your identity, to your core.
Mhm.
And I think it's gonna be definitely a not hard, but maturing. You're gonna feel different by 2028. Sobering is definitely, especially because Neptune is there too.
Mhm.
So Neptune and Saturn together. So I
Mhm.
think that does bring a sobering type of energy too. But then I'm curious to know or curious to see what's going to happen when Saturn then leaves Aries and then Neptune is just there going through Aries
Mhm.
for till when? When is that till?
Forever.
Yeah,
For a long
literally
time.
in
I think
another
it's
like 11, 12 years or something. So
for
Neptune
sure.
through the first house. I think it's going to be very spiritual for the Aries risings
Mhm.
too and the Aries suns. About Neptune through the first house transit. This is going to be a thing for Aries risings, for sure, until the end of this transit in like about 12 years or whatever.
Right.
People misinterpreting you and you thinking that you are putting out an energy, and a lot of people not understanding that energy. Neptune is very nebulous. It's very it's hard to grasp. So when it's going through your first house or Pisces risings deal with this too. Um you think you're putting out a certain energy and it's just not. Other people are just not seeing that, or you're just not on the same page with
Mhm.
that. So like getting used to being misunderstood, I would say is something to get used to, energy to get used to. But I think the perk about being an Aries rising is like what we said throughout this whole video is you're meant to stand out, you're meant to forge your own path, do your
Yeah.
own thing, and like what you said, believe that you are the myth that you are. Like if you have something in your brain, be that because that is an Aries rising thing. Like you inspire
Yeah.
others by being yourself and you find success by being yourself. So I think that's going to be kind of harsh energy to deal
It,
with for the Aries risings.
it's harsh, I think, because it's almost as if, and this is my personal thought on it from like my experience, it's almost as if everything that people told me to temper down is exactly what the world needs. There's this need I feel with this whole transit that's just like you have this ability to move things forward that was people were scared about before, like for the Aries
Mm-hmm.
energy,
Yeah.
right? Now that the world is halfway broken, there's crazy lists everywhere. Everything that people were trying to fight against are like in everybody's face. It's kind of like, wow, we wish that those protective, crazy people who were talking about this stuff would have done more. It's like, you didn't? You
Yeah.
didn't? You didn't? Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But
Do
it's
you
like,
now, really?
all right, that's up, right? Um, and I think that's the other side to where the warrior, I hate the archetype that gets used for that because I don't think people have a good example of what a warrior is. On a
Mm-hmm.
common thing. Like we're looking at warrior from like, we watch a show and the dude is fighting with a sword. And it's like, he's a warrior. It's like, yo, but
Yeah.
like, have you ever thought of the concept that there's a dragon, the thing you ain't never seen before,
Mm-hmm.
bigger than most houses? It's just you in a tiny sword having to be stupid enough, brave enough, or
Mm-hmm.
something else entirely to like face against that thing. And I think that
Mm.
like a lot of times we get so caught up in the archetypes. We're like, we're a ram. It's like, how many people have met a ram? Like,
Literally.
you know what I mean? It's like we get so disconnected because of that archetype. How do we relate it to the people that are coming up? Because like Generation Alpha loves astrology.
Yeah, they
Gen
do.
Z, they love it. They
Mm-hmm.
know it. Or they're at least familiarized. Why? Because people our age are teaching them
Mm-hmm.
stuff that they're growing up. You know what
Makes
I mean? So
people
it's
feel
like
understood and seen.
yeah, and imagine
Yeah.
like, and I'm just imagining. I got told I was like a Sag and all that stuff, like younger than most people do, but I'm just imagining like, yo, what if I like knew for a longer time, and instead of me
Yeah.
kind of sitting here being like, I wonder how I can express, but I don't think going back would change. Correction, it would change stuff. I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. I think
Um,
everything lined up how it was meant to
yeah,
always.
for sure, and I think
Hmm.
that's the part. to where it's like, and even if it didn't, I still got to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's some Aries rising
That's some Aries
shit.
rising
Like
shit.
it's like no, you still gotta do it. You know,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
so I always tell like I get I used to get inspired. Like at the end of superhero movies, I used to cry. You hit me with a good hero overture
I love that.
after someone risk it for the biscuit,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like they put and I'm getting emotional now because it's like a well, it always comes with like a perseverance.
Yeah.
Right. And usually when the hero's story, like it starts with conflict. It starts with you sucking at something. It starts with you
Yeah.
but that's the point. I think a lot of people look at Neo in the Matrix and they're like, oh, it's the chosen one. Like that's an analogy for like anyone who chooses to be the one.
Yeah.
Like you want to be the change and you could be the change, but it does come with some caveats.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it gets to the people part of astrology, to where it's like, I think most astrologers have trouble navigating a world that's this corrupt. Knows corruption is inevitable, but how can we again, help and essentially without getting to the savior part of it, save the people from themselves. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily from themselves, but from what they're programmed towards that they don't resonate to.
Yeah.
Like I'm a tall guy who's athletic, right? If I've met NBA players I am taller than. Like it's one of those things to where it's like but am I an NBA player? No.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm an astrologer. Why? Because that works for me. Can I do decent in a basketball game? I would hope so. Haven't in a while, so hopefully we still got this. Hopefully still got it going. But in
Mm-hmm.
general, it's just one of those things to where it's what's your thing? I love astrology because when I first got onto astrology, ain't nobody else I knew could do that
Same.
at all. Nobody, nobody could even start to do that. So it was a
Yeah.
very kind of
Yeah.
thing for me, right? I think that's a part that people don't get is that we're saying stuff that everyone can resonate to, but if you hear the terms and think the animal, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
it's like oh, you're a Pisces, you're two fishes. It's like, what did you
Yeah. What the fuck does that even mean?
say?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what did you just say to me? Versus yo, you have a very spiritual direction, and sometimes it feels like you're pulled in all ways. Is that something that resonates to you? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Then they're
Right,
hooked.
yeah, now I feel seen by this total stranger who has all my chart information in front of them
Yeah.
that I can read. So it's just
I
I
think
can
that's
read
why the Gen Z and Gen Alpha love astrology.
right?
Yeah.
I think about this often, where I'm like, yo, a lot of men are into astrology, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
in general. It's not like a thing that happens naturally for a lot of men in terms of that, right? But if I was able to be like, do you want to be the ultimate athlete that you could be?
Mm-hmm.
Here are the mechanics to do this in a way that's doesn't feel condescending or woo woo. That's a whole different avenue.
Yeah, and it's just gonna grow more and more.
Yeah.
I feel like I see it, and especially with the Neptune in Aries, I think a
Mm,
lot more spiritual leaders are gonna be in the forefront of the world. Honestly, I think that is a
mm,
bright side of the Neptune and Aries placement, especially having an Aries rising too. I think that is actually a good route of for a lot of Aries risings to move in, either spirituality, just being more compassionate with yourself, finding more compassion and
mm.
empathy for yourself, and those around you.
Yeah.
And yeah, finding success within that too. But
Yeah.
do you have any more or advice for
Mhm.
the Aries risings upcoming that you could think of before we wrap up?
Yeah. I'm about to say, and I'll hit just Aries as just a general Aries concept. So if anyone here has anything Aries, hopefully this lands. But I think
Hmm.
if I had to really sum up the Aries energetic, is that it's like conquering fear makes you fear, but the
Mm.
closer you get to that fear, the easier dreams become. So I'm gonna leave that there because that sounded cool, and I don't want to mess
Yep.
with that
I want to
there.
put that on a t-shirt and sell it to all the
Actually,
Aries. Love that. That was, yeah, that was a perfect line for the Aries. So, how can people connect with you? What do you
Yeah,
have coming up that you want to share with people or your social medias that you want to share with everyone?
for sure. So the major thing that I would tell you to go do is follow my newsletter Under the Stars We Wander, right? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the main connector. It's on Substack. It's going to be the main connector to everything. Usually I'll put the short form video out there, the long form video out there. So even if you're not on social media like that and you still want a taste of like what is it here like? What does it sound like? What are the visuals for this like? I also have that there as well for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
What I've been working on aside from everything else is I've been actually going to record by tomorrow. So by the time y'all see this, it might be out at this point. But I'm just recording evergreen content for the first time.
You're
Um,
recording what kind of content?
evergreen. Evergreen content is essentially just stuff that you can go to at any point. A lot of the things that I've done have been current for like years. And
Mm.
so it's me like chasing like this might surprise you. Almost every video I've ever put out, I did the same day that it came out.
That does
It,
surprise me, honestly, but I'm most likely to, I'm the same way for the most part. Yeah.
right. And which is a Mars, Aries, Scorpio rising thing. Like I just knock it all out. So for the first time, I was like, huh, what if I really sat, kind of used the Saturnian part, and like
Hmm.
got comfortable. It really was like, let me just explain the stuff that I feel like I always have to explain, but in a way that is going to not make anyone confused ever again. So that's kind of like my goal is to make this content and give these classes and courses for people to come through, purchase at any point,
I
have
love
ebooks
that.
attached to them, have just materials and resources attached to them. Because also on the other side of things, not everyone can afford reading. So I
Yeah.
would rather give people X amount of money for you to literally go ahead and learn this yourself in a way that's like tangible, etc. Because I think there's a large part to accessibility to learn to
Hmm.
taking astrology and like mastering your world. And I think those are two different things.
Yeah.
So I at least want to kind of give my, hey, the content that made my life easier, let me give y'all my rendition of this for like something that makes sense,
I love
and
that.
then I can then do some more cohorts and just people that really want to get nitty gritty. I think I'm willing and ready to like really give my expertise to those people. So I will be doing more of those things pulling up, especially this summer. I have a couple of things I am slowly working on in the background. But the from the first one that will be up is I'm going to be breaking down the moon magic system. That is not the exact thing that it will be called, but I
Hmm.
do want to explain to people how the moon works because I've been doing that
Yes.
every 2 weeks, and I'm like, why don't I just really just tell y'all how this goes, and
Hmm.
then y'all can meet me wherever I end up at. So that's the
I love
vibe.
that. Yeah.
Focus on that. Took a step away from consultation briefly, just to kind of like bring that forward. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to see you. It's when it bursts. It's sort of
Yes. I'm
so
excited. What are your
absolutely.
socials?
Chad the Maverick is pretty much all across the board. Instagram, please subscribe to my YouTube. I love my YouTube. I have a very
Yes. I love your YouTube.
I freaking love YouTube. So like I my real goal is to be like if I can get like I want to be that guy on YouTube. Everything else is like whatever. Like like
Yeah.
Instagram, cool. This if I get YouTube popping, I am so happy. If you're in LA, hit me up. So what's up? I do in-person stuff sometime. I do
Yeah.
events for people, do events for companies. Holla at your boy. Um
I love it. I love it.
absolutely. But yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun time to do all these things, truly.
I love it. Well, thank you again
Yeah, of
for
course.
coming on the pod and chatting with you. We had a really great conversation. It was a pleasure. And
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you again.